right, good morning, everybody. Everybody ready to get started? Sorry you got me today, this month. No, not the pretty Drew this month. It's good to see you all, though. We're going to start a little bit different. We have a really special award. I'm not sure if you all are aware of it, but want to take a minute to recognize our executive chef, Brandon. Brandon recently won the Illuminating Excellence Award, which is a national award. Who sponsored it?
It's from Premier, and that's like our purchasing group that we purchase food for U.S. Food.
So it's
nationwide.
It's a nationwide purchasing group that we're a part of, and out of all the chefs nominated across the country, ours won the award and was honored last week in that. I know you're a man of few words, but would you like to say a couple?
No, just thank you. That's all. Just thank you. That's it. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. All right. Well, so here's the agenda for today. We're going to do the Shining Stars, and then we'll do committee updates. I've got some community updates for you, and we'll leave time for questions and answers here at the end. So, Barb, you want to help me out with Shining Stars?
Beth is up first. Yes. Will Jennifer Craig please come up? And for Jennifer Craig. Yes, for the time she puts into making every function we get to attend here, her ideas and creativity, juices that flow, and she carries them out with flair. Thank you for caring and creating beautiful parties for us here from Hazen.
Thank you both.
Suzanne. Sure, Houston, you want to come up? This was written by Jane Harper, and she basically says she is so incredibly efficient as she only has 1 hour for amazing at what she can do, always does what I ask of her, and always cheerful no matter what I want done. Please don't ever let her go.
Thank you all. Hey, one thing I want to make mention of with the Shining Star, that I do want to mention an upcoming change. So we've been referring to this as the Shining Star. We've been doing it for over a year now. We're going to be making some changes to that program. Really, the big thing is we're going to be calling it the Wave of Kindness Award. And it's something that we're going to be opening up to all employees across the community. Now, you're not going to really notice any changes. It's the same form with a different program name, and we're still going to bring them up here at this monthly meeting and recognize them just as we have. But I just wanted to make mention of that so that if you see a different form, it's the same program, really. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that will start July 1st. All right, so let's start the committee updates. Anything from Building and Grounds today? Nothing. They were on vacation last month. Anything from the library committee? No? Everything's going good? How about the food committee, Barb?
There's always something. There's always something for the food committee. Okay, in response to many requests, the pizza buffet will be returning once a month, the third Saturday of the month, starting in July. I want to remind you that reservations for Simone's need to be in by noon of the day that you wish to eat, so that there's enough time for the preparation that needs to be done. Some items come frozen that can't be thawed out at the last minute and cooked. And we don't want to waste food by having a lot of extra prep done and not have a lot of people show up. So we want to be able to prepare the food for the people who are coming, and we need to know that in advance. It seems we're not having sleeves of coffee cups disappearing anymore, thankfully. Thank you. Now we have the comment cards and pencils disappearing. So we fill out the comment cards and someone comes and says, I want to put in a comment, but there's no cards. And they'll open up the box and there's no comments in the comments box. So we know the cards are going someplace else. Please leave them to be used for their intended purpose, so people who want to make a comment have something to make a comment with. Thank you. Regarding coffee, maintenance of the coffee machines is the responsibility of Renoco, the company that supplies the machines and the coffee. And their lack of responsiveness was the reason we changed vendors last year to a different coffee company. These are the only two real companies in town that can furnish the amount that we use. So, but you didn't like the coffee from the other coffee company. We had so many complaints, we had to go back to Renoco. However, now, of course, we're getting some complaints that the coffee machines aren't working properly. I just want you to know that we contact the company immediately when there's an issue, but it seems to take repeated contacts on our part and lots of time going by before the maintenance person comes to fix the machine. I know it's been a problem with the one down there by the pool. So just know that we're doing everything we can to keep them up and running, but if you want the coffee that you want, we're stuck with the vendor that we've got, so.
Did we get the Roanoke coffee yet? Or we're still using the old stuff?
Well, no, it's the new stuff.
No, not yet. Not on second floor anyway.
We are using the Renoco product at this point, Bill, they're saying. The question was if we were using the old product still or the Renoco product, and it's all been switched over now.
Right. Okay, also regarding coffee, there's the setups on every floor and every area are meant to be the same. And so I would ask that you not rearrange or put away some of the components in a way that you think might be more efficient, because it makes it difficult for residents to find what they need and for food service staff to keep things stocked if you're moving things around and putting things away. So, also you may have noticed when Ted Drews came back briefly, that there were some signs up that said limit to. Those signs were put up at the request or at the suggestion of the food committee, your fellow residents, as opposed to food service staff, because we made that suggestion so that there would be more opportunity for everybody to share in the things that are most popular, rather than having somebody come in at the end of their cycle and buy it all up. So don't blame them, you can talk to your rep. Simone's Greek Mediterranean restaurant is closing on the 30th of June and will reopen again on the 10th of July, featuring barbecue as the theme for the month of July. I have no idea what's on the menu yet, but it ought to be good. Oops. Now, I'm going to introduce something we talked about many moons ago, which is reusable containers for purposes of reducing the trash. So Vanna White is here, two Vanna Whites are here to show you what we have. There are 4 containers. They're each $4, or you can buy the set of 4 for $15. We have the soup container. Okay, the soup container. We have the small, like, salad container, or sandwich perhaps. We have a large divided container, which looks a lot like what you would take, your leftovers in. And then we have The extra large container. So like one of those entree salads would go in there, whatever. So the way this works is when you want food to go, you bring down initially these will be available to purchase in the market. You bring down your container, they will put your food to go in that container and you take it home. When you're done with it and you want another order to go, you bring back your empty container and they will give you a clean one. They will wash your container and reuse it again. If you buy a container, but it's at your apartment and it's still dirty and you don't bring it back and you want a reusable container, you'll have to pay for it again. So, yeah, bring it back. You bring it back soiled and they put it through the dishwasher. So they're all cleaned and sterilized. That's what they're made for. Are there any questions on this?
Can you bring your own containers?
Well,
You
Yeah.
can,
You can bring your reusable green containers, but not.
But that's it,
your own
yeah.
containers for-
Your Tupperware containers, you can't bring?
no.
No.
You have to use if you want to use a reusable container, it has to be these containers because they're made to go through the dishwasher. If you're,
It has to be the green one.
Yep.
they're all green, that has to be.
right. Yes.
If there's leftovers, you still have containers to take the leftovers back to your room, I assume, or do you?
Oh yeah, you can still use the containers that they have for leftovers. You don't have to buy one of these. Yeah, no. This is just there are a lot of people who want to have to-go food and
You
want to
can,
be able to use their own container.
if you buy one and you want to bring it down, because you don't usually eat all of your food, you can too. You know, they're to-go containers, so we can use however we want to use them. Just know that if you purchase one and you don't bring one back, and you order food to go in a reusable container, then it'll charge you again for that one container, or if you buy a whole nother set, the 4 containers.
Got it?
If you call in a to-go order and you don't want it in a reusable, they'll
Yes.
still deliver.
Yes.
You can still order to-go items without having it put in a reusable container. Yes.
Microwavable?
What?
Are they microwavable?
Yes.
Yes, they are microwavable.
Plastic, so.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you.
Here, Barb.
Thank you, Barb. Lifestyle?
Here we are, the twins.
Just want to ask a couple questions. Did you all get the pink sheet in your mailbox? Okay, any questions about that? Good. Also, did everybody get a newsletter? Okay, so you've seen the trip levels, and it would be a good idea to read those before you sign up for a trip. I just want to highlight a few things. Thank you. Just a couple things. On July 4th, we're going to have a patriotic sing-along with Suzanne. Suzanne, anything you want to comment about that?
Well, I hope you all come because we're going to do 13 songs that you saw. Okay, we're going to first start with singing Happy Birthday, America. And then we're going to do 13 songs, one for each of the original colonies, starting with America and the Star Spangled Banner. And for you who have been to my sing-alongs, we start out with the history of why the song was written and who wrote it and the little things about them that make it very interesting. And I think that should last about 45 minutes. And then we're going to have something special after that. And all the words will be on the big screen. Okay?
Thank you, Suzanne.
In this room, yes, in this room, yes.
Okay. Square dancing is back on July 12th. And we're going to have the Queens of Swing Band on July 17th. And at the bottom of this page, there's also some upcoming August events. So, does anybody have any questions about Life Enrichment? You give the ideas that you have to your representatives when you go to your neighborhood meetings or whenever you see your reps, and then that will come to our meeting. And right now we're meeting twice a month. Okay?
All right, the other half here. Our Illustrate the Music artwork, which was a lot of fun. I think everybody who participated enjoyed it. It's currently on display at the Sachs Library in Chesterfield, and we plan to take it down on Wednesday. And we haven't discussed, I guess, then we'll be distributing it back to the artists. We did have an artist celebration party, and Ron Clem was able to come with his wife, Isla. And Ron, I just kind of put it on him when he got here, would you be our provocateur? And he did. He was. It was fun. So that was that. And then this Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we have an amazing pianist coming. If you have not signed up for it, I hope you will and plan to come. Alla Voiskovoynikova is Director of Keyboard Studies at the University of Missouri. She is a frequent accompanist with our St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, Missouri Chamber Music, and many, many other places. I've asked her if she would play a piece of music that I heard her play a few months back that was by a Ukrainian composer. I, of course, couldn't remember the name of the piece or the composer's name, but it's hauntingly beautiful. And she said she would. So I hope you'll be there. And then Mary mentioned the Queen of Swings, which is going to be a complete turnaround. And that's all I have to say, except that we really do work very hard in lifestyle enrichment, trying to bring a variety of things so everybody finds something they like. Thank you.
The other thing I want to mention to you is that when we meet, we take the suggestions, that were given to the committee by the representatives. But the staff is the one who makes the final decisions about programs and trips that are taken.
That's it for the twins.
I just have two things real quick. So from your neighborhood meetings, it has come up a few times about a Cardinals game. And so we went last year, and so we have crunched the numbers, and this year we have 2 dates picked out for August 30th and September 21st. Those are both day games, but we will not be doing a box. We won't do box tickets this time go around. It'll be just general admissions, and we're aiming for $75 to $90 a ticket. So, show of hands, is anyone interested in a Cardinals game outing? If you are interested, you don't have to, if you are interested, just please see me right after the meeting. And then I have one more question. Is anyone interested in a regular 9-hole golf outing with a golf cart? And if so, how many? If you are interested in that as well, and you don't want to put your hand up, just let me know afterwards, because we are still looking into Top Golf as another option. And then just let everyone know, machine in the exercise room is being looked into. We have called the repair guy, so that's in the works.
So to play 9 holes of golf, we'd have one person be interested? Or maybe I just saw, okay, 2. Oh, okay, I missed a couple hands.
What I was going to say to you, we tried it really hard last year.
Yeah.
And it just didn't materialize. We had a lot of people say they were interested. We had reserved a place at tee times at the Baldwin Golf Course, and there would be 2 people up here one time and 5 the next, and they were saving so many tee times for us, and I couldn't figure out any way to really make it a regular thing, which we tried very hard to do last year.
Yeah. Is there more interest in Top Golf? Yeah, I see some head shaking. Okay. Top Golf's less intimidating, I know that's for sure. Yes?
I can understand why there's no interest with the Cardinals right now.
Yeah. John said he can understand why there's not much interest in the Cardinals right now. Oh. Sorry. Carol, I missed employee appreciation.
I didn't mind, but this is my last chance to talk to you people. I hope you've all seen these flyers. They're placed by the coffee machines and by the mailboxes. This is our way to help our employees with some things that are needed every year. Backpacks, all these school supplies, and household items, cleaning items. I know that prices are going up, and this is our way to help them have extra money to buy food for their tables and their kids. So I hope you'll all contribute. You don't have to contribute much, but every little bit helps. And they appreciate it very much. I just wanted to tell you also, if you write a check, please write it to Mason Pointe, and in the memo, put backpacks or caring tree. Our date to have all this in is the 21st of July. Now I know that's a few weeks, but you know how time flies. And we always think, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow doesn't come. So if you'll remember, I put some flyers out at the table by the elevator, so you can pick one up. I hope you've all picked one up. I know you haven't, but anyway, we appreciate everything you do, and they do too. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Anything from the Hook and Needle Club today?
Good morning. Hi. Not a lot of news, but we'd sure like to see you come in the shop. We have some new things, some jewelry that's been donated to us, and we have them available for sale. So again, following up on what Carol said, all of our proceeds go to the Employee Appreciation Fund too. But we have a Wainwright bobblehead. You might be interested in that. We have our usual items, but what we really want you to see is just come to the room. We have a new look, and it looks pretty good, I think. So it should be easier for you to shop, and there's lots more room, and our fabrics are all color coordinated if you want to pick out fabric to have a purse made or something like that. You're welcome to come. And if the lights are on, come on in. We'd like to see you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Judy. I missed the welcoming committee, Joyce. Or not welcome, wellness. I'm having the day today. Wellness committee.
I thought you were just saving the best for last.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I didn't feel missed at all. Oh, glasses. I get to say something that's really important to me. The dog park has been blessed and dedicated.
Amen.
I thought that would never happen. We had to keep changing the date because we couldn't get everybody together, but yay, we did it. Grief support's still going on every Wednesday. They meet at 2 o'clock in the MP Theater. This goes every Wednesday through and including August 30th. And if you want to know what the topics are each week, it's in your Gazette. Just check that out. Then I have a long list of wellness events and speakers. 27th of June is Time for Relaxation with Phyllis Sparks. It's in this room from 2 to 3 o'clock. Or is it 3 to 4? Did that change? Beth is checking. 29th of June, Understanding Diabetes with David Lane from Sembra. It's in this room again, 11 o'clock. And because of this, the Diabetes Support Group is not meeting on the 27th. We will be in here on the 29th, hopefully. In July, 25th of July, we have, do you have the answer, Beth?
Yeah, you have it correct.
I did. Well, what do you know? I had it right. Okay, let me just restate that. The time for relaxation with Phyllis Sparks, NPR, in this room, from 2 to 3 o'clock on the 27th. So July 5th, there is a low-impact Zumba dance class. This is something new. It's Zumba Gold with Maria. 13th of July, How to Find More Happiness with Donna Adams. She's from the LSS Home Office. It's in this room again at noon, and it's open to both residents and staff. Now here's the part you're gonna like. Comes with food. The only trick is you gotta be signed up by July 11th. That's 2 days before the event, because they have to get the food together and have enough food. So if you don't sign up for the food, you don't get to eat. But you could go ahead and come and just watch the rest of us eat, if that doesn't bother you. On 11th of July, the day you have to be signed up for the food for the other event, there's a workshop on exercise for Parkinson's and other neurological conditions. Once again, it's back in here, it's 11 o'clock. And I will say, that doesn't mean if you don't have Parkinson's that you don't come. It might be useful to you just to hear, to understand what Parkinson's is and what exercise can do for you. So I would encourage you. I signed up for it. I don't have Parkinson's. I might learn something. That's on July 11th at 11 o'clock in here. On the 3rd and 17th of July, there's meditation with Kathleen. This one's in a different place. MP Theater at 1:30. Last, I have the 24th of July, presentation on IT band syndrome, to which I had to say, what? IT is an acronym for? Okay, you hit or something down there, yeah. So just come and find out what it is. It's in this room again at 1:30 on the 24th of July. If I could just say once again, sign up for this stuff. Even if you say, okay, I don't have diabetes, so why would I want to hear a diabetes speaker? Well, the diabetes speaker is going to talk about what diabetes is. Maybe you're going to learn something about there too. These are educational. It doesn't mean you have to have that particular problem to come and hear the speakers. So I would encourage each of you to sign up. Then if you'll allow the Wellness Committee a few more minutes, Sue Jackson would like to come and talk to you about something that's very important to her.
As most of you may know, I lived here 5 months when I fell and had a broken hip. I did not have on my name tag. I did not have on my wonderful pendant, which I'm sure you all have somewhere, but you may have no idea where they are. Anyway, recently Kay Wood fell, and the person that found her didn't know who she was, which I was surprised at because you would think that was not the case. But it could have been a resident who had moved in recently. My concern is, well, even when Mary Lou Holmes fell in the theater, I was the only one with a pendant on. That gets security notified much quicker to get the help that you need. And it may be something more urgent than a fall. So my concern is for all of us. We don't need to be going through the 2 years I've been through. So please, wear your name tags so we know who you are, which will help the new residents in learning who we are, and us in learning who the new residents are. And I want everybody to be safe and happy. Thank you.
All right, next we have the veterans. Hank.
Just want to let you know that we will have a meeting on the first Monday of July, even though that is July 3rd. And our speaker will be Fran Shaw, who has a very interesting background. She got a nursing degree, was a registered nurse, decided to join the Air Force, and she had 3 overseas assignments, 10 permanent changes of station, and she retired as lieutenant colonel, and now she and her husband own a 330-acre farm in Perry County. I think you'll find it interesting. Thank you.
Anything from the Welcoming Club today?
Thank you. Yes. About 2 months ago, we had a move-in on the second floor. Their last name is Fallist. And would you please stand up, both of you? And we've had no move-ins since then. Thank you. We've had no move-ins, but there are people moving in July and August. So we'll have some new neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you both for being brave enough to stand up in front of the room. Appreciate it, and welcome. Lastly, the workshop club. Anything today from any of you? Nope, all's good. Okay. Anybody have anything else before I move into my part? Denise?
Yes. I would like to ask, I would like to ask if there's anyone planning to go to Stages this Wednesday that has not signed up for the bus. We found one this morning already. The bus has 2 seats left, if anybody does, so I want to warn you of that. Next of all, we just found out, and it was just put on Touchstone, that we're going to be able to go to the winery on July the 8th, a Saturday, and we'll be able to take one full bus load. We're going to go to Nobles. We're going to leave here from the mailroom roughly 10:15 to 10:30, and we'll be back here by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If there's any questions about that, please let me know. There's no charge for that except for what you buy when you're at the winery, which could consist of food or beverage. Thank you.
Denise?
You can sign up today on Touchtown too, I believe I was told.
Yes. Sign-ups today at 1:45. Yep. Thanks, Denise. Any other last comments before we move into the next topic? Carol?
I would like to say one more thing. We do take cash.
That goes without saying, Carol. Anything else?
There's somebody here in here.
Yes.
Just to follow up on what Sue said, these pendants only get help to your room. If I fall down here, you gotta come find me.
No,
so they're not very successful.
That's not.
We need to get pendants that locate people in the building, not in the room.
Well, so they do, just to make sure everybody heard that, the comment was if he fell in here and pressed this pendant, that wouldn't be able to find you, and that we could find you in your apartment. The pendants actually, they do respond to common areas. They get you within a very close proximity, depending on where the repeaters are on the ceilings. I'm not sure how close there is one to this room, but it would get security in the general vicinity of where you are if you had a fall outside of your apartment. If you go outside of the building, though, the pendants stop working entirely. So, does that make sense?
I'd like to comment on the wonderful Father's Day buffet. It was outstanding. If you missed it, you missed a good meal.
Thank you, Nita. Any other comments? I keep seeing hands get close to going up, but not quite. So, okay, all right, we'll go ahead and move into just the community updates. So, I'm just going to talk about a variety of topics, and we'll kind of go through them quickly. And if you have questions, I mean, by all means, throw your hands up. The first one relates to hallway temperatures, and I tried to put up here some of the more recent things that we're hearing more about. And so not to repeat what we've put in writing, but you know that we have the hallway temperature set to 74 degrees. one thing that I wanted to explain with that is that doesn't mean that it'll be exactly 74 at all times in the apartment. That means there's a 2-degree range that is expected out of our system. So at any given time, you would expect it to be between 72 and 76 degrees. Does that make sense? Now, I've gotten a report that one of our residents went out with a thermometer and took the readings, and it did fall outside those parameters. It was 69 degrees, the highest getting 70 degrees. So I don't know if anybody else has done that, or but so we're gonna go and do that ourselves around the building, so you know. But I want to get a sense of the room with a little bit of straw poll here, okay? You're gonna have 3 options, all right? Raise your hand for one of them. You're gonna get, you think it's too hot in the common areas, you think it's too cold in the common areas, or you think it's just right in the common areas, okay? Does that make sense?
It's just the hallways.
Let's just talk about hallways, yes. All right, so we're talking about hallways, 3 options. Raise your hand for one, just so I have an idea what we're looking at. How many of you in here think that it's too hot in our hallways? Okay. How many think it's just right as it is right now? There's no issue. How many think it's too cold? I don't know, I think that's close between just right and too cold.
If you come into our hallway, you step out into the hallway, it's cold.
Yeah.
By the time you get past the first fire door, it's starting to warm because of what it's very warm.
So Sue Jackson just mentioned when she walks outside of her apartment, it's cold, and then as you go down the hall further, it gets warmer. Looks like we've got a comment in the back. Can we take the microphone? Thanks, Bart. So where we're going to start with is our guys are going to take thermometers around, and we're going to double check that we're hitting the parameters at all the different locations. As far as what we're going to do from there, I'm not sure yet. I wanted to get a sense today, though, of what the feel is.
Okay, what I wanted to comment on is that the temperature may vary from floor to floor. Say you're on the 3rd floor and you're walking down the hallway, and then you find out that when you go back, you go down to the 1st floor, the temperature varies up or down, you know. And that's what and I know that it is hard to regulate that because of the fact that you have doors opening and closing. You've got the garage, you've got heat normally goes up, and I can see why it would be very hard to regulate.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors at play. There's a lot of different preferences, obviously, in the room. I don't know, one thought also would be maybe making it a part of neighborhood discussions. There is no LSS set standard. That's what a couple of residents have asked, is are you required to keep them at 74? And the answer is no. And so if there's a different preference by hallway and floor, I mean, we have no issues, I don't think, adjusting. You know, it's just we would want to make sure before we do it, we're doing it for the greater good in that area and not just the individual that's stating their case necessarily the loudest. Does that make sense? So Jones first.
Just a comment that I know I frequently am cool in the hallways or some of the rooms, but if you're too cold, you can always take along a light jacket or a sweater. If you are too hot, we can only take off so much. So, just a thought.
I wish I had heard your comment, but I'll watch it back on Chuck's video. Sounds like a good one, Joe.
I think the other thing is the thermostat locations.
So in our hallway, for example, which I find cool, that there is no thermostat. The main thermostat is down around the corner somewhere. And so I think maybe that might be part of the problem where some areas are really cold and other areas are not, because there's no thermostat there to register what the temperature is.
Thanks, Barb. We got about one more comment back here. Mr. Horseman back.
Drew, it's conceivable that there might be something wrong with the thermostats themselves, because in our particular apartment, it's off by 4 degrees. And I was told that that might be consistent with some of them.
Yeah, no, thank you for your comment, Mr. Horseman. That's going to be the next step, is to verify the readings that we're getting in the hallways at the various thermostats. I don't know, you guys be thinking about it too. Our standard's 74. We are open to changing it. It's just figuring out what exactly it needs to be changed to, with the understanding that we're going to have different opinions across the room. So, Joyce, you had a comment?
Yeah, I don't know what you can do with this comment, but I just have to throw it in. For me, it's a health issue. If I'm too hot, my blood sugars will spike to the 300s and 400s, and I literally get sick. So to have the hallways hot is a serious issue for me, and I'll just have to stay in my apartment, which I do a lot when it gets hot.
Any other comments? All right, we're not going to resolve this one today, but we'll keep working at this one. I appreciate the feedback, though, and the comments there. The next one is the garage mirror. So this is the mirror when you leave the east entrance of the garage. There's been, from our car drivers, they're saying that it's too high. The SUV drivers just love it at the height that it is right now. And so we're trying to just find a balance there between the two, and we do plan to lower it just a few inches. And so you'll see that happen probably next week. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about that? It also got tilted with the wind. It's been straightened back up, so we'll have to keep an eye on that moving forward too. So, all right, easy enough. The next topic relates to the fire doors. So these are the doors in the hallways. Have you noticed lately that they've been shut more frequently? And it's kind of unpredictable. So what's going on there is our fire doors, when our alarms are tripped, those fire doors close. It's a safety feature. The circuits that those doors are on are the same circuits that all of our fire doors are on in the campus. Okay, and so with the remodel that's happening right now, typically when we do construction, they were covering the smoke detectors so the dust doesn't set it off constantly. We were told we could not do that. And so what's happening is those alarms are tripping more and more, and that's what's closing the doors. And it does not reset for a period of time. That's why that door doesn't hold open and it remains shut. You may remember, actually I don't think it ever was, but we made sure that they were on different circuits for the horns, so that when the alarms go off over there, it did not mean that the alarms go off in independent living. And so we are talking to Tech Electronics to see about getting the doors on a separate circuit so that it's not happening as frequently. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about any of that? I know it can become a hazard, especially if you've got a assistive device with those doors closed. But I just wanted to take a minute and let you know why that's happening and what we're doing to try and fix it. Any questions? All right. The next thing, the timers, I wanted to let you know that the work for that is actually going to start next Tuesday, Tim informed me. And so the common area lights are going to start going down at 11 o'clock at night, and then they will come on again at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, now it's not going to be totally dark. There will still be some lights on, but it's not going to be the whole house lit up. And so 11 o'clock to 5 a.m. Starts next Tuesday. Any questions about that? Are you happy about that? All right, good. All right, I saved the biggest update for last. Some changes that we're making in housekeeping. And I'll start by saying the changes that we made recently in housekeeping, we could have and should have rolled out better. But you may be aware that we switched all of our housekeeping staff to 4 days a week, 10-hour days. Prior to that, they were doing 5 days a week, 8-hour days. You with me? You guys are quiet today. So we should have given probably 30-day notice, and that's my fault that didn't happen. We ended up giving 2-week notice. We put, I think, letters in mail slots, made phone calls to people. There were some that we were that we left messages for and did not get back to us. Either way, we should have given ourselves a longer runway before we made those changes. And so next time we would do something like that, I want you to know that we'll do it different. But I also wanted to just explain the rationale behind it, because I think there's a benefit in there for all of you as well. What we're trying to do is get to a point where we've got more consistency with our housekeepers, reducing turnover in the department, reducing call-ins in that department, and then ultimately just higher job satisfaction. You're aware of what's happening in the labor market, I think. And so as an organization, we are trying to stay flexible in order to be as attractive as possible, to good candidates, but then also once we have them here, do what we can to keep them here. And so this is feedback that we've heard from a lot of the housekeepers that are on our team now, that they would really like this. And so I wanted to point out to you, just so you're aware, why we're doing it. We believe it will create less stress, less burnout, increased job satisfaction, better family dynamics. We've got, in some cases, staff who are taking care of loved ones. And so by working 4 days a week instead of 5, that gives you that extra weekday that you can make doctor's appointments. You can really handle whatever you need for your family on that off day without having to call in. A better work-life balance and just life satisfaction, reduced commuting costs. Gas prices are up right now, and so it's one less day that they're commuting to and from work. Ultimately, fewer absences. And so, that's where we land, is doing 4 10-hour days for our housekeepers. And so what that means is people that had cleans on Fridays, now their days have moved. And so I know I don't know if Suzanne's in here, but I know she's working individually with some people to make sure that residents are satisfied with their cleaning day and cleaning time. It doesn't result in any changes to the services. It's the same services. It's just we're not doing the routine apartment cleans on Friday. There is still housekeeping in the building on Friday, should that there be a need that comes up. So I'll pause there. Any comments or questions on that?
Yes. Are you going to stagger it? You're not going to let everybody off the same day. You're going to have to break it down into groups, or half a shift works 4 days, and the other half will be on different days. In other words, stagger.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody being gone on Friday.
Yeah. The question is, are we going to stagger the days off rather than having everybody gone on Friday? The answer is yes, we are. Not the entire department is going to be off on Friday. We will have housekeepers in the building. Schedules are staggered so that we have coverage in the event that we need it. Yeah.
So then also, as far as the common areas, we'd still have the current amount of cleaning of common areas, because if people have family into like a common area on a given floor, when they mess it up, they should clean it up?
Yes, and we will. There's no changes to the cleaning schedule for the common areas, and that's really we're not doing apartment cleans on Friday, so that the housekeepers that we do have here can focus on the common areas heading into the weekend. Yes.
Are you planning to expand this to the rest of the staff?
So we're looking at a lot of different creative things. It just so happened that this came up in our housekeeping department. We do have different things work for different groups, right? And so we do have some people in our building that are working on a compressed schedule, like these 410s, where they're working a day remote or a couple days remote. You see some staff bringing even their children in when it's appropriate for that to happen. And so we have 8-hour schedules, we have 12-hour schedules. We understand that, and as an organization, we're committed to offering flexibility because it's required right now in this market. Any other comments or questions on this topic with housekeeping? I thought there'd be more discussion on that. Okay. All right. So open questions and answers.
What's the status of the remodeling going on and the project for new independent living apartments?
Yeah, so the remodel is still happening. Right now we're planning to be finished with the remodel in November, depending on what we do with windows. We're having some window discussion again. Feels like when we did our independent living. But right now we're on track for November, December to open the new areas and close down our assisted living. As far as the independent living project goes, I don't have any updates to share with you. All that's happening at our home office. And they'll alert me once we have a viable project for me to be involved in. So, but no news right now. Yes.
Me?
Yes, Suzanne.
Could I come forward and address the piano situation?
Sure.
There are many rumors going around out there about the piano. Okay. On June the 12th, and we had choir practice, Vi and Peg and I always treat the piano like a baby. We wipe it off with cloths and get all the fingerprints off, and Bill and Ken water it to be sure we have water in the reservoir for the sounding board. And we all did that day. We waited for the lights to go out to tell us that the water was where it needed to be. We put the cover up, we locked it, I locked the piano, we put the cover on, and there are two locking mechanisms. There's a lock that locks the lid, and this is why we got a piano that could lock, because we knew it was going to be out. It locks the lid, and then there's a shaft, and then there's a lock that locks the piano, the lid on the keyboard. I always check that lid to be sure it's down on the keys, to be sure that our key goes to the two locks to lock those two places. Everything was in order, and that was at 5 o'clock on Thursday. On Saturday, the day of the puppet show, we had friends in from Sullivan because we have a puppet ministry at our church in Sullivan. 4 people came. We made two of them. At 1:30, we came up to show them the piano before the puppet show. We went over, we lifted the corner of the cover on the piano, and the keys were showing. That should never be. When we left on Thursday, it was locked. The cover was locked. The lid was locked. Of course, my heart sank. I could do nothing until they left, and then we had a barbecue, and so on and so forth. And so at the end of the barbecue, about 7 o'clock that evening, Vi came out from her apartment to say hello, and I told her what had happened. So she and I both came up with our keys. Our keys wouldn't work. We called Peg. Peg came up with her key. There are 3 keys. We have 3 keys, and then there's 1 key. Barb has it, or somebody on the staff has it, okay? None of our 3 keys would work. It was 8 o'clock at night on Saturday. There was not much more we could do. So Monday morning, Vi called Steinway, okay? Being paranoid, because I was not here on Sunday to check the piano, I came up here at 9:30
on Monday morning. Now let me go back. Obviously, when we couldn't get it unlocked, then we realized that I had put the lid back down on the keys, but it wasn't sitting properly on the keys. We realized that someone, very strong someone, had come in and forced the lid off of the keys and had sprung the locks, done something to the locks. Okay, so Monday morning, that's from Thursday at 5 to 1:30 on Saturday, and then I was up here at 9:30 on Monday to check the piano. The piano was fine. I lifted the cover, the lid was down on the keys. Steinway was to come at 2 o'clock. I came at 1:30 to be sure I was here when Steinway came. This is the kicker. Between 9:30, when I came and checked on the piano, and 1:30 in the afternoon, someone had come back, had lifted the cover on the piano, on this end, rolled it back on the cover of the lid, and left it open. Now, when Steinway was here on Saturday, on Monday, I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. The cover was all rolled up and was laying on the corner of the piano. I tried to lift the lid off of the keys, it would not budge. Whoever came back and rolled up the cover smashed that lid so hard down on the keys that nobody could lift it. Even the Steinway man could not lift it. His key didn't work. We didn't know what we were going to do. So he took the hinges off of the side of the cover, the lid, and we still couldn't get to the key. So he sat down on the bench with a knife. I call it a bowie knife, but I said I don't know what a bowie knife is. But anyway, it was a knife that had a very flat blade with a point on it. He sat down on the bench with the light from his cell phone and was able to get the point of that blade in between the lid and the locking mechanism. And he was able to manipulate and get the lock unlocked. When he got the mechanism out, there was a dent in the shaft between the top lock and the bottom lock where someone had forced the keyboard lid open. Also, he could see where it has dented a little bit, where it happened. So he went back to Steinway and came with a vice lock. And you will find that on the piano lid now, on the right-hand end, is a vice lock that can be only opened and closed with a key. And Peg and Vi and I and staff have that key. Now he came back Friday and put the new lock back in, right, Vi?
Same lock.
Same lock, okay. He fixed the lock. I was not here Friday, so he fixed the lock and put the lock back in. Now, I said to Drew, I want all of you to know what happened, because all of you are responsible for having this piano. It's not my piano, it's not Vi's piano, it's not Peg's piano, it's your piano. And I want you to know what happened. There are all kinds of rumors going on. Friday I had lunch with people and they were like, oh, I understand somebody from assisted living damaged the piano. I don't know where you got that, we have no idea who did it. Then somebody stopped me in the dining room Saturday and said, tell me about the piano. I understand somebody poured a can of soda on the keys. Now, where did that come from? So, do not believe any rumor that says we know who did it. We do not know who did it. We only hope it does not happen again. So, thank you for your time. We're running over, but I wanted you to know exactly about what happened to the piano. Yes, Charlotte?
Why is it so important to keep the piano locked?
Why is it so important to keep the piano locked? What's your comment?
My comment is that it's a high-priced special instrument, and we have to keep having it tuned, and it's for performance only.
That's correct. Thank you, Charlotte. The reason we have it locked is that so that no children or somebody that is not, I don't know what I want to say, accomplished in playing the piano can come by, because it was a $27,000 instrument, and you all made it happen. And that's the reason we're trying to protect it. And that's why we bought it with locks on, because it is out. So Drew, I think we're talking about putting up cameras as a possibility to keep it secure. And so if anybody else has any comments or things about it, just come to Vi or Peg and I. We won't take up any more time today.
Yeah, it's been referred to as an attack on the piano and yeah, just accusations. And I would encourage everyone to reserve judgment. They also found a piece of metal in the lock that's, it looks like it's off the keys to it, and this is the Mason Pointe key. And so we've not given this key out to residents from assisted living or care center. And so, who knows?
All of our keys are intact, so.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? It's a mystery. It's definitely a mystery. But it happened, and we wanted you to know exactly what happened. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions? We've got a couple minutes here. Any last questions or comments? Mr. Lewis?
The warm weather has increased the number of insects and bugs that are in the area. We know that we could call, I guess, Michelle, the receptionist, for someone to come and spray our apartment. My question has to do with, there's a little gnat that apparently is so small that it can go through the screen, which of course comes again and again, day after day, regardless of someone coming to spray for one particular situation. So, not now necessarily, but maybe you could tell us about insecticides and the danger to humans and what are you doing to try to conquer that gnat?
Okay, thanks, John. Yeah. All right, I think we're going to end with prayer. Chaplain, sorry, Vi. You want to say one thing?
2 seconds, because I think you've gotten to know that I try and I like to always end our report with the words that I sincerely believe. Living here at Mason Pointe, and this more than all the other things today I've heard, we are blessed.
We are.
Within that, let's close with prayer. Heavenly Father, we graciously thank you for the great gifts you give us of neighbor and of love. Continue to bless us this day as we go forth by word and by deed, that we may love one another and love you with all our heart, mind, body, and soul. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord look upon you with his favor and give you his peace in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace.